What is Princess Daisy's homeland like? Just where is Sarasaland? Will we ever see the kingdom again? Welcome to the 4th episode of Art and Games University. This is your host, John Coulter from Sharks Eat Meat. Thank you for joining us today. Art and Games University takes a deep look at the quantity, type, in-game meaning, and real-world art historical references of all art objects found in video game worlds. Today, we'll be looking at Super Mario Land 1 for the Game Boy. Mario's first full-length portable 2D side-scrolling adventure on the Game Boy is far from the Mushroom Kingdom, set in Sarasaland where Princess Daisy has been kidnapped by the alien Tatanga. Mario must search Sarasaland's 4 kingdoms, Birabuto, Muda, Easton, and Chai, to save the princess. With Mario standing just 12 pixels tall, Super Mario Land 1 for the Game Boy is one of Mario's tiniest adventures. However, Super Mario Land 1 is packed with unique ancient art and culture sites, many of which never again appear in the Mario franchise. Developed by Nintendo R&D 1 and published by Nintendo, Super Mario Land 1 was released as a launch title for the insanely successful Game Boy in 1989. Super Mario Land 1 was snubbed for inclusion as a bundle with the Game Boy hardware in favor of Tetris. We will be looking at the art in the original Game Boy version. However, there are several alternative versions of this game, including some excellent fan remakes for the GBC and SNES that shed new light and details on the game through the lens of passionate new artists reinterpreting the stages. Shigeru Miyamoto and Nintendo EAD Division originally developed Super Mario for the NES. However, Gunpei Yokoi, the designer of the Game Boy, and Satoru Okada of Metroid and Famicom Wars' success, were entrusted to lead the direction of Super Mario Land 1 for the Game Boy. Under Yokoi and Okada's lead, programmers Takahiro Harada and Masayo Yamamoto worked alongside designers Hirofumi Matsuoka and Masahiko Mashimo to bring Super Mario Land 1 to life. Matsuoka and Mashimo have each worked as background and character artists for multiple Mario, Wario, and Metroid titles. Let's go over the total amount and type of art and cultural objects found in Super Mario Land 1. Sarasaland is filled with pyramids, sphinxes, hieroglyphics, Moai sculptures, and more, with each of the 4 kingdoms being inspired by a different ancient and mysterious real-world culture and theme. Birabuto is inspired by ancient Egypt. Muda is inspired by ancient Greek concepts of Atlantis or the Bermuda Triangle. Easton is based on Easter Island in the Pacific, and the Chai Kingdom is based on ancient Chinese mythology. Super Mario Land 1 has a total of 70 art examples in-game, with 74% being sculptural and 14% being architectural, the remainder of the art being miscellaneous. Super Mario Land 1 came in 32nd for total art, just ahead of Mega Man 3 for the NES, and has well below the average amount of art per game in Season 1 of 188.8 art objects. Which kingdom of Sarasaland do you think has the most art in Super Mario Land 1? Which enemy NPCs do you think were inspired by traditional cultures or myths? Leave your guess in the comments. The Birabuto Kingdom is based on ancient Egyptian culture. The first 2 stages are set above ground in a sunny, sandy desert landscape dotted with pyramids, while the 3rd stage is set deep inside a dark pyramid tomb. The pyramids in Birabuto most similarly resemble the iconic Great Pyramids of Giza in Memphis. The first Egyptian dynasties began just after the Neolithic Age or Last Stone Age. The necropolis was built around 2600 BC. Prince Himiunu is believed to be the architect. Khufu is the king credited as being buried there. The pyramid is built on a natural hill and bedrock base and was once covered in a bright, smooth limestone. The Great Pyramid is 450 feet tall, whereas the tallest pyramid in Birabuto is just 72 pixels tall. Sphinxes appear in Birabuto as both stone statues and living, fire-breathing enemy guards of the pyramids, as well as a dungeon boss. A sphinx is a mythological creature with the face of a human and a body of a lion, or sometimes a ram or bird. In Egypt, they are often found guarding tombs and palaces. Though most often associated with Egypt, various forms of sphinxes are found throughout the Mediterranean and Middle East. The most famous sphinx sculpture is also from Giza. The Great Sphinx was created around 2500 BC for the pharaoh Khafre, shortly after the Great Pyramid and Second Pyramid at Giza, and faces west to east near the Nile River. The Great Sphinx is also carved from bedrock and plated with limestone blocks on the exterior. There are 13 different symbols or glyphs found in Stage 3. Some of these designs include Horus, an hourglass, an eye, and an ankh. Hieroglyphs were used from 3000 BC to 400 AD. In Latin, hiero means sacred, and glyph means carving, alternatively, God's words. They are an organized pictographic language and written script. With many hieroglyphics and sphinx, the third stage of the Birabuto Kingdom has the most art in Super Mario Land 1. Up next are the underwater ruins of the Muda Kingdom. There aren't a ton of art examples to examine in stages 4 through 6. There are UFO-type objects, which I would describe as unidentifiable, and there are also underwater stone columns. The stone columns are made of crumbling square blocks and have bases and capitals. They have no other decorative details and appear Doric or even more ancient. Mario can savagely blast his way through these destructible ancient columns in the underwater stage. If they allude to Plato's Atlantis, their Greek features make stylistic sense. There are several mythical sunken islands famous throughout history, including Atlantis, Mu, Lemuria, and others. The name of the Muda Kingdom is a play on the words Mu and Bermuda, but has little to do with these fictional and real locations stylistically. Atlantis was originally mentioned by Plato as an allegorical island state that sunk into the sea. One hypothesis for the pseudo-archaeological island includes islands destroyed by volcanoes in the Mediterranean, such as the 1600 BC Minoan eruption. Next, we'll be visiting the sculpture-filled Easton Kingdom, where the cultural reference and inspiration are obvious in both name and design. There are many Moai sculptures on the island and Moai-inspired enemies stomping about. Let's analyze the real work that inspired the sculptures in these levels. The Moai stone sculptures of Easter Island are well known, and their mysteries have fascinated many. Easter Island is situated off the coast of Chile and has a unique cultural history due to having an isolated location. Many islands that developed in isolation formed unique cultures, including Japan and Hawaii. Easter Island is known for its many monolithic stone sculptures, or moai. Similar wooden figures of similar design, as well as an abundance of pictographic cave carvings, also appear on the island. Over 800 moai have been documented. The giant monolithic stone human figures with prominent heads were carved by the Rapa Nui people of Easter Island between the years 1250 and 1500 AD. They are meant to hold the spirits of ancestors, and a majority face inland to watch over their people. Many are made of volcanic ash stone known as tuff, and have coral and obsidian eyes, as well as headwear known as pukao, made of a red scoria stone. The pukao are a top-knot type headdress of important chieftains. Some moai have tattoo-like designs and text carved into their backs. Appearing as both decorative background elements and fearsome enemies, the moai stone sculptures are awarded this episode's High Score trophy. Fact check. Moai have bodies. True. With similar disproportions to Mario's blocky body. Moai are frequently mistaken to only be faces or heads. Their heads are unusually large, but they have bodies which have often been buried. Though restorations have occurred, almost all of the moai statues were toppled or destroyed at some point. As famous and alluring icons, the moai have appeared in many pop cultural references and video games, including Castlevania 1, Horizon Chase 1, and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. If you'd like to learn more about the moai's appearances in video games, there is a great ongoing collection of data at moai.games. The final 3 stages of Super Mario Land 1 are set in the Chai Kingdom, inspired by ancient China. Our first art example is the spiral motif found at the top of the stage and is known as a Shai Gyun or Yun Le Wen pattern. This means auspicious clouds or thunder clouds. In ancient Greek architecture, the motif is known as a meander, or Greek fret, or Greek key design. The swirling cloud imagery dates back to prehistory and is found on clay pots prior to regular use in the Zhou and Shang dynasties. Auspicious clouds are frequently on ancient bronzeware, architecture, and fashion. In agricultural societies, the rain and clouds are associated with good fortune. Jiangxi, or the Chinese hopping vampire, is a myth in Chinese folklore. A Jiangxi is a reanimated corpse that travels by hopping to visit their living relatives. The myth dates back in written records to the Qing dynasty. The myth has spawned a popular genre of literature and campy horror films in China and Hong Kong similar to Western vampire films, such as Encounters of the Spooky Kind and the Mr. Vampire franchise. A land that exudes exoticness, just what and where is Sarasaland? A sarasa is a style of floral pattern found in Indian textiles imported to Japan since the 1600s. Sarasaland is filled with far-off stone ruins in stark contrast to the fungi-filled Mushroom Kingdom's castles and Dinosaur Land's hills, forests, and fortresses. The unique settings may have been chosen to set the handheld games apart from Super Mario Bros. And the upcoming Super Mario World's locations. Mario would later visit the actual Egypt, China, and Greece in both Mario is Missing and Mario's Time Machine. However, these were developed by Toolworks. Princess Daisy rules Sarasaland. Player number 1, Mario, has courted many princesses. Pauline was introduced in Donkey Kong 1, Peach in Super Mario Bros. 1, Daisy in Super Mario Land 1, and Rosalina in Super Mario Galaxy. Daisy and Luigi are now rumored to be in a relationship, with statues of them dancing together appearing in Mario Kart Wii. Local inhabitants and wildlife of Sarasaland include sphinxes, spiders, flies, snakes, and chickens. Flora include the piranha plant and the endemic pom-pon flower. The region's Goombos and bombshell Koopas could be convergent or divergent evolutions of the Goombas and Koopas. Let us know what you think in the comments. Sarasaland has largely been reduced to flavor text in a few games and rarely seen again. Tatanga returns in Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy, along with Bombshell Koopas. Daisy regularly appears in other Mario Karts, as well as party and sporting spin-offs. However, it wasn't until 36 years later in 2025 when elements of Sarasaland would directly reappear when incorporated into Mario Kart World's large map. In Mario Kart World for the Switch 2, Daisy dons a Bedla-style Oasis outfit and rides the Carpet Flyer. Desert Hills and Shy Guy Bazaar are retconned and reimagined to include designs first introduced in Mario Land 1. The central palace of Shy Guy Bazaar is decorated with Daisy emblems and tiles, and additionally has prominent Gao, or Sphinx, fountains. In the area surrounding the Desert Hills track, Tokoto, or Stone Moai, enemies and relief carvings can both be found. There are also UFOs that possibly belong to Tatanga. These references to Sarasaland are not present in past appearances of the Mario Kart courses. Excluding small cameos, do you think we'll ever see any of these settings or creatures again? This concludes our episode on art within Super Mario Land 1. Sarasaland is full of direct, real-world cultural references with fun and unique settings to explore for the Mario series. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. Supporters of our research through Patreon get special benefits. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments what art piece is your favorite from this episode. Today's trivia question is, which game has more total art? Super Mario Bros. For the NES or Super Mario Land 1 for the Game Boy?